Hello everyone, it's Marina Vasquez from Creative Candy for You. Thank you for joining me today. I have another coloring video, and today I'm going to color up this cutie. This is a digital stamp by Paper Nest Dolls, and she is new in the shop right now, and we're going to celebrate with this little Dino Party digital stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and color the rest of it in. I wanted to focus on the skin and the hair and then coloring the little dino, so I have already pre-colored her little cute outfit. So today we will start by coloring in her skin. And I'm going to be using the E000 to start coloring in all of her skin, and I give it one coat of this color first. So I will color the entire face, arms, and neck, and a little bit of her feet. And then we'll move on to more of the shading of these areas. Okay, so I just give one quick coat, nothing too important or too specific, too difficult. It's just a single coat. Now I'm going to move into the darker colors, and I'm going to start off with the E04, and I'm going to start creating those the shadows that are behind her hair, that are casted on her face from her hair, and then on both sides, a little bit towards her neck, towards her chin, and then on this side of the neck. Okay, and then you can get a little bit of the shadow right here under her sleeve and behind her arm. Right under her hand and a little under her thumb. And then on this side we're doing the same thing. It'll be under her arm and then a little bit behind the dinosaur head. And then under her pants, and then behind the back part of her her foot here, and then I'm going to do the inside here as if the shadow is, or the light source is coming from this side, front and right side. Okay. That's it for the E04 for now, and then we're going to move on to the E11. Okay, E11 is going to be used, I'm going to pull it down just a little bit so you can see, is going to be used to pull out that color slightly, that it's going to pull that E04, not too far because we don't want to darken her face too much, but we're going to pull that color a little bit towards the center of her face. Okay, we're going to pull that color towards the right on her neck, and all in those areas that we put the E04, we're going to pull that color towards the opposite side. And here, okay, hope you can see that. And then the next color that we're going to pick up is the E21. E21 is going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to go over that E11 and pull it slightly out towards the center of her face. Not too far in, just a little bit further than the E11. We're pulling towards the center of the face, and the center of the face has the highlighted area. Again, over the arm, over that E11 on all the areas that we have covered with her skin. All right. Then we're going to move on to the E00 and pull the E21 towards the center of the face, pulling over the E21, pulling that E00 towards the center of the face. As I said, leaving the middle of her face being the lightest area, which is the highlight area with the most light reflection. Going over the E21 that we've already laid down before that, we're going to pull that with this E00. And then the last color, which is the first layer that we laid down to start the skin, was the E000, and we're going to use that to complete the face and all the areas of the skin. And our last color in the skin process. Now I always like to go back and add a second layer to the skin, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to start once again with the E04, and I'm going to darken a little bit of those areas where we initially laid down the E04. We're going to darken those areas once again. I always do a second layer to the skin, maybe not all the colors that we used, but I do like to add a second layer and darken some of those areas. I like the contrast that it creates. Okay, so again, we're just laying down this E04 in those darkest areas that we first set up. Okay, then the next color, if you remember, is the E11. And the E11, we're going to do just like before. We're going to pull out that color just slightly towards the center of the face, not too far. And then one thing I do want to remind you when doing the face that works for me is not to lay your marker on your color for too long. Just a light, bright brush stroke over the colors is good enough. You don't want to saturate your paper completely with these colors and make them all turn into one just blob. So I just do a light stroke. The next color here is the E21, and I'm just pulling over that E11 that we just laid down lightly, pulling towards the center of the face. Okay. Pulling a little bit on that bottom, on the arm, on the feet. Now E00 is the next color of the skin. Again, we're just pulling towards the center of the face, just like we did the first time around. Pulling a little bit of that color in all the different areas, just very lightly. And the last one, which is the E000, is the last color where we go over the entire area. The entire skin there, and we blend those areas out. And here we go, we've got the skin for our little digital image. Now we're going to move on to her hair, and I must confess that curly hair is one of my least favorite things to color, just because it's a little tricky and it just takes time to learn. At least for me it does. And so I'm going to go over this image just like I've shown in the other videos that I've taught. I like to go light to dark because I have more control over my colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the lightest color in my hair colors, which is going to be the E53. And I'm going to follow the lines that the artist has given us for the hair and just create a few strokes. Now the first thing here is that this part of the hair on the top of her head seems like to be just a little wavy and not have the complete curl like the bottom does, and I'll show you what I mean with that. So I'm just pulling in what I think would be the wavy areas in the top of her head. Okay, just creating some strokes. Okay. And following the lines of the artist. Okay. So now we get into a different area right here with her hair, and it seems like her hair has like some ringlets, some curls. So what I decided to do was I'm going to create the lines going back and forth towards the center of what I think is the ringlet. And what makes me believe that it's more of a full curl is these lines that the artist created right here. So I'm just pulling the lines from side to side to create more of a circular cylindrical, is that the way you say it? Curl. And we'll do that on both sides. Hope you can see here what I'm doing. And as we add color, it'll make more sense. All the darker tones in here. This is just what I call the first layer and the map for my hair. This gives me an idea of what I'm going to do with the next colors. So my middle tone in the hair is going to be the E55. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little shadow right here where I believe the hair, part of the hair is in front of another part. So I'm going to create it behind. I believe this hair right here is in front of this back hair, so I'm going to create a little shadow behind it. Again, this next one is in front, and I'm going to create a little shadow behind it. And I'm going to do that to the entire hair where I feel there should be a little shadow. This part right here of the hair is going to be in front of the rest of this back hair behind her neck and her face. So this area is going to be definitely going to be darker. So the first thing we're going to do is add those shadows all around her hair, and then we're going to add the hair strands into her hair. I hope you can see a little, it's not very dark, but I hope you can see the contrast between the first layer that we set and this little shadow that is created with this marker. Okay, so I'm going to go back and create again the lines over those areas, not necessarily over the same lines I've created, but just adding more strands, streaks of hair, more highlights. And again, we're going to go back and forth towards the center of this curl to give the illusion of it being a full curl from almost the top to the bottom. Okay, just back and forth. This one, it's, as I said, it seems like it's just wavy here, straighter lines, straighter hair, and then we'll go into the curls back and forth once you start seeing these little areas that look more of a curl. Okay, back and forth from the center to the middle, from the outside to the middle, just back and forth. Okay. Okay, so the next color and my darkest color is going to be the E29, which is extremely different from the others. It's a very, very dark color, but I love to bring that in because it creates that contrast that I like. And those shadows. So the very first thing is I'm going to go over those shadow areas like I did before with the E55. And I'm going to go over what would be, in my opinion, the darkest areas in her hair. Okay, and we're going to create a little shadow behind that area, behind her hat. Behind the sections of the hair that lay in front. Behind her body and her neck and her face. These areas should be darker, automatically be darker just because they are behind her head. Okay, and then on this side of the hair, we're going to create that shadow behind the hat, behind these top curls, this long curl. Okay, so you can see how this creates the shadow and separates the front curl from the back. And then I'm going to go in and again add some of those strokes in to create the highlights and the strands of hair following the hair that was created here for us. Okay. Just adding a few lines here and there. It doesn't have to be too many. And then when we get to this area, remember from the outside towards the middle of this curl, outside in, from side to side, creating the complete curl from top to bottom. Okay, same thing with the next curl, next row, towards the middle. Okay, these right here are more of the wavy strands for now. And then the full curl here from side to side. Okay. And then the other side, more of a wavy look. Side to side, and then starting from the outside in on each one of these rows of curls. Side to side. Okay, and then the next row, adding from side to side till we finish all the curls. Okay. All right. Usually I like to, after creating all of these, I like to take a step back and just look at areas that might need just a little more, a few more strands. And now we're going to go back with the E55 and build a little bit more of that color. So we're going to add this E55 in those little dark areas right here behind her hat, just a few areas here and there, go over behind her neck, just add a few flicks in here and there just to add a few more color variations. Okay. And then you can choose to, instead of, I use the middle tone to add just a little bit more of the color back in and blend these better. But you can choose to use the lightest color, which is in this set is the E53, the one I just started with, and it'll give the end result a lighter tone by using the E53. So I'm going to pick up the E53 just a little bit and color in some of those areas that are, I love to leave some of the white areas because of the highlight, but not too many, so I do go back in and make sure that I color them in. Okay, and now we're done with the hair. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do her hat really quickly, just because I want to then be able to jump into the dinosaur and just focus on the dinosaur. So the first color I'm going to pick up is the E00, and we're going to use that to color this little area, pink little area of her hat. Okay, E00 first. Then we're going to pick up the the first one was RV00, and the next one is the RV52, and this is going to just make it a little darker by adding a little shadow behind her hair. And then we're going to go ahead and, because we're going to make polka dots in this next section, we're going to add a couple of pink polka dots. The next section we're going to have here is the kind of aqua color, and we're going to follow the same pattern here and add the shadow on this side. You could definitely add the shadow on the side that you'd like. I'm going to add it on this side since my pink is on this side, and I'm just going to leave a little bit of the white area around it. And this is my BG11, and then I'm going to go in with the BG13 and add even darker color here on the top. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some dots while I have this color available. I'm going to go back with the BG11 just a little bit over that 13 and blend it out just a little bit. Just pull it out a little bit. Okay. And then my last color is going to be the green. And I just noticed her cupcake needs a few little lines. I'm going to go in with the YG01, which is a very yellow green, very bright yellow green. And I'm going to go in with my G24, and I'm going to create some lines here for the cupcake that I forgot to do, and then go back in here and add a little bit of that green on there, and add some green dots to her hat. Okay, hope you can see this. Ooh, I think I took it out of the frame, but here you go. You can see she is ready, and now we're going to move on to our little dinosaur. So our dinosaur colors, I did a blended set of colors on the dinosaur. I made her into a little girly dinosaur, and the first color I chose, see right here, is the G20, and the G20 is a very light shade of green, also a little yellowish green, but it does have more of a grayish tone to it. So I went ahead and colored around the little dots that are on the back part, and I pull the color towards the center all the way around the back part of her head. And around the polka dots on her skin, and pulled it towards the center of the dinosaur. Same thing on the legs, bottom of the body, and then pulling it towards the center. Because what we're going to do is we're going to pull a different color towards the opposite, from the opposite side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the RV 000, my lightest pink, and the RV 000 is going to pull the other way. So we're going to pull them and meet those colors. We're not meeting them necessarily in the middle of the body, but we're just going to meet them for now, you know, in this area, and then we can shift that color a little bit because we do want them to overlap. Okay, so it's the first layer, the two light colors. And then I'm going to pick up the next shade of the green, which is the G21. It's only one, just one tone darker. Remember, the first one was the G20, and now we're doing the G21. And we're going to go over just on the edge of this dinosaur. And although it's only one level, one tone darker, it does seem a lot darker than the first one. But don't worry, because what we're going to do is we're just setting this down on the edge. Okay, around her pants as well. And we're going to, let's see, looks good there. Then we're going to go back to the G20 that we first set down, and we're going to pull that color towards the center again. We're going to go over it, saturate the paper so that they pulls the color towards the center. Remember, we started on a certain area, but we're going to pull that green even further into that pink, and vice versa. When we do the pink, we're going to pull that pink into the green. We want those two to blend. Okay, so now we've added the green, the darker shade of green, and now we're going to go from the opposite end. We are going to go with a darker pink. In this case, I'm going to do the RV 000 as we started with the RV 000, and now we're going to pull, we're going to add some color on this end. And we're going to pull this color out towards the center, not too far because we do want to keep that light shade in the middle. And we're going to pull this color and make it just a little bit darker on the edge. And after laying down that color, we're going to go back with the RV 000 and go over the entire area once again, pulling that pink all the way into the green, all the way into the pink, the green. We'd like for it to be a nice little blend in there. Okay. I'm going to pick up the G20 just a little bit because I think I need to pull this green under here a little bit more. Okay. All right. So again, we're going to go even darker. And my next color here is going to be the G43. G43 is going to give us just an even darker shade back here. Just around the edge on here, under the bow, just a little more of a shadow. Okay, and then we're not going to pick up the G21, we're going to pick up the G20 and go over it. And this is why, for me, it's important to start light to dark, because I can always look at my image and think I could go darker if I want to. I can add just another tone in here, a darker shade if I want to, but once I set it down, I can't take it away. So I'm going to pick up the RV 000 and just go over this entire thing with the green once again. Okay. And then, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pick up the RV 52 and I'm going to start adding just little dots on the skin of my little dinosaur. Okay, all down, make this a little darker right here where the mouth is, all in this area, and just add a little texture to his skin with some dots. Okay. And I'm going to go back to the RV 00 and we're going to fill in this area right here. The little dots, we're going to fill them out with the RV 00. Okay. Then we're going to pick up the darkest color of the green that we used, which is the G43. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to use this to add just little polka dots, texture to the skin of our dinosaur. Okay. We can add as little or as many as we want. There's no amount, set amount. It's whatever makes you happy and as far as you want to go. Then you can go back with the G21 and add a few more in this shade into the green as well. Okay. Just a few here and there. And then I also went ahead and picked up the RV 55 and just added a few dark ones in the pink area as well. little bit in the mouth, all along this area. Just adds a little more dimension and contrast here to the colors of the skin. Blend out this little mouth a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up the RV52, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to kind of create more of a circle here on the spots that we colored in. On all of them, not all the way around, we're just creating like a little shadow. Just a little dimension there. I'm going to go in with the RV55 and even go one shade deeper, but just creating one line. Hope you can see it. It's like a really fine line here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with my darkest green, which is the G43, and I'm going to go right around one side of the spots here. Around the pink spots. And I actually think that I'm going to pick up something even darker than this, just to make those spots stand out a little bit. I have the YG63 here, which is a little darker, and we're just going to use that to go over that same area we just did. Make these stand out. I think that was better. So you can see it's making them pop out. It's giving them like a little shadow, and it makes them look more dimensional. So that's what we're doing. We're popping those spots out just a little bit. And it looks like our dinosaur is pretty much done. I'm just going to add just a few more spots right here with the RV55. I forgot some on this side. A little shadow there. And then just add a few more. Oh, there's a little spot right there I missed. Let's do... I missed a little spot, so we're doing the RV... it was the RB00, then the RV52, and the RV55, just to finish it off. I blend that out just a little bit with the RV52, and then we're going to use on that one the G43 to just create a little bit of the green shadow behind it, make it pop out. Okay, so the last thing that we have is the little hat, and also this little like collar. So I'm going to use the BG11 to just pull a little bit of color right here, leaving some white around the area, pulling some of that blue right here. And we're going to make this this hat blue first. First layer is going to be blue. We're going to add some, next color is the BG13. We're going to add some polka dots on the hat as well to make it match her as well. We're going to pull some of that color. Okay. I'm going to go back to the BG11 really quickly and blend this out just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to do the RV55 to add just a few polka dots here and there, and then just add a little bit of color. Then pick up the RV52 and pull a little bit of color here. And then last is the G43, which we will be using to add some green polka dots to the hat. And that should complete our image. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed watching me color this image. I do want to show you, if you haven't seen on my Instagram, it's creative_candy4you. You can see the completed card. I actually created a background for this digital stamp, and the completed card looks like this. So as you can see, I added a lot more elements here to complete this card, made it into a birthday, Dino birthday card, and added a little sentiment there, "You are dynamite." And just wanted to share with you what I created using this image. I hope you've enjoyed that. I will be doing a tutorial pretty soon where we'll be working on the wood floor, and I may also show you how I did that background for this party celebration. Thank you again for joining me, for stopping by, for following. I really appreciate it. We hope to see you on the next video. See you next time.